Welcome everyone back to the Crimson 15 podcast. I'm your host, Crimson Sin. Be sure to follow us over on Twitter at C15 Podcast. Join the discussion over on Discord, link in description below. And if you're enjoying the reviews, be sure to sub, like, share, and hit that bell for notifications. Podcast character designs done by Demon Artie. Follow her over on Twitter at Artie Demon. You're going to find some amazing artwork, fan art, originals, redesigns, just amazing stuff. So be sure to check her out and give her a like, a follow, and a retweet. Episode 6 of Carmen Sandiego, The Need for Speed Caper. The punny titles are just ridiculous. But this is a return to form. This is definitely a good episode. Episode 5, it felt like that whole backstory should have been incorporated into this episode. They didn't need to spend 22 minutes telling that story. It could have been condensed to like 5 and put into here because it all kind of relates. So it gets us kind of like a two-parter. Definitely the second one is better than the first one. But we open up with V.I.L.E. and they're looking for replacements. And they're suggesting that this one guy, he's like slippery. And, you know, Maelstrom is like, but we need someone to be part of the faculty that's more than just a good thief. You know, they have to be more than that. Some lady just kind of barges in and she's very British. The accents in this show are either hit or miss. Hers is kind of wonky, but it's fine.
Types all about manners and extended little pinky fingers.
Apparently she's good friends with Coach, and they even have a secret handshake. How fun is that? She's like, oh, and her code name is the mechanic. She should have been the mechanist. But they're like, oh, how could we forget? Because she's loud and bombastic, and she's not real faculty material. Just from the way that she acts, she doesn't. You kind of have to have a different air about you, and she's a little too close to the ground, if you know what I mean. But of course, Coach is like wants her to take the spot, but she has to prove herself. And they're talking about that car being stolen, and I love this because they bring up the question of like, what do we want with a super fast car? If that's nice, you just steal cars, who cares? They're like, oh, we could take it and, you know, take this technology, and then they're like, and do what with it? And they kind of come up with a decent ploy, like, oh, if we can reverse engineer this car, we can make getaway cars for all our thieves and stuff. That's good enough. That's good enough for me. But she like carries around this greasy wrench and just kind of throws it around like, oh, it's nasty. We get back to Carmen and her crew. There's a 16-hour flight to Dubai. Man, she's in this plane a lot. And, you know, everyone's getting ready, and she kind of tells, hey, Shadow Son, you don't have to go. Why don't you and Player work together, start, you know, the stuff that he can crack that hard drive you gave him, but only you can determine, you know, what would V.I.L.E. want to do with these specific targets. So you have that inside knowledge. And I kind of like how Shadow Son's like,
so I have a choice of play dates.
I heard that.
You know, like, oh, what little kids can I play with today? And then even Player's like, hey, you know, what's up with that? But she, you know, explains it to him that you could be more useful doing this. He's like, okay, Player, get me a flight to where you're at, and then we can meet up. And he's like, wait a second, you can't just like come to my house like I live with my parents. Oh, here's my ninja friend. That would actually be awesome. And he's like, here. She gives him her laptop and just work with them just over the internet, and you guys can work together. So it's just Carmen, Ivy, and Zach going on this mission. Then the edutainment, they start talking about the United Emirates, you know, in Dubai. Some of the one of the richest people on the planet live there. They do a good job explaining the city. See, this makes sense that they would kind of want to know what this town is like, what the city's like, what the United Emirates is like. Unlike the Boston Tea Party thing where it had nothing to do with anything. So we learn about, you know, all those they have a bunch of man-made islands, and they're like made in these like beautiful shapes. And there's going to be some super rich dude throwing an unveiling party because it's his motor company's the one making this supercar. They're going to take it to a test track and they're going to show it off. But they're like, okay, we're going to steal it before it even gets there so we know it's in safe hands. Then they do the whole Ocean's 11s, like they explain the plan and it's showing how the plan's supposed to work. And they all dress up. Isn't that nice? I wanted them to all dress up in the Fashionista episode. So Carmen's wearing another beautiful, you know, outfit. It's not a gown. It's kind of like, but it fits there. They're going to. Zach's wearing his tuxedo. Even Ivy got dressed up a little bit. Look how nice she looks. I wish she would have done something with her hair, but, you know, we can't get everything, right? But they're like, okay, we're going to go to the party. We're going to neutralize the guards. You know, I'll get the garage open. And then remember how she could hot wire cars? Oh, she's going to do it to this thing. That's so lame that's we shouldn't have gotten that knowledge just the episode before, just so it makes sense that she does it in this episode. They really should establish that like in season 1, but whatever. And then you guys are gonna steal it, and since it's an electric car, it's gonna be super silent, and we can just drive out of there. No one's none the wiser. So the plan starts out, and it's almost exactly as it goes. They get to the party. Zach and Ivy are walking around, and this is nice. Zach sees a woman, and he's like, hey, like he's attracted to her, so I'm gonna go talk to her. That's nice. Usually men aren't allowed to like women in cartoons in 2019. And of course, Ivy's like, oh, don't be a dummy. And he goes up there, and Zach he's handsome. When he combs his hair and he's wearing a nice tuxedo, he is a handsome guy. So he goes up there and tries to talk to her, and he's kind of a goofy guy, but he has his charm. She doesn't even say anything. She just straight up walks away. I'm like,
I'm Shindig. Any chance you're into, chip and dip?
Wow. And I thought watching you try to bond with Shadow-san was awkward.
Huh?
oh man, Zach got shot down. Not even normal. He didn't come down on a wing. No. He got obliterated. And she's like, oh, whatever. Then we see that guy that was like his rival racer, Douchey McDouchebag, and she's with him. So that doubly pisses off Zach. There's this lady here I like. She's with the guy that I absolutely hate. And so it just made him even... And it shows Zach here has like an anger problem. It plays into what happens later in the episode, but dude, don't be an idiot. He walks up to him and is like, oh, hey, I remember you too. Oh, we used to race the amateur things. We used to compete. He's still a major league douchebag. And of course, Zach's trying to like, play himself up a little bit. And he's like, yeah, well, and he's like, what are you two guys doing now? Well, obviously, if they're there in Dubai, they have to be well off because they wouldn't just be there. Last time we saw them, they were these two, street, racer people. Then he straight up, was like, oh, I'm a duke. My sister's a rocket scientist. Like, what the hell? Why did he make up that stupid lie? Carmen is still on mission. She's breaking into the garage where they're keeping the car and everything. And, she's on task. But Zach is just hung up on this guy, and he keeps talking to him and kind of like trying to like, one up him. And Ivy's like, remember, Zach, we have that thing we got to go do. Remember, we got to freaking steal that car, you idiot. Then we hear a voice of like an older guy, and he's like, oh, I remember you. And this is Douchey's dad, and he kind of likes Zach and Ivy. Like, he respected them for their ability to race, Ivy's ability to work on cars, and he liked the idea that, they used a DUI, like a car they built themselves, do it yourself. And he seems like a pretty nice dude. And I was thinking, is this guy evil? He might be evil, but as far as we're concerned, he just seems like a decent guy. And he's working with the guy making the car, so it's gonna be part of their team. It's gonna be like a big thing for him. And of course, Douchey is just being a douche. And this was awesome, I thought, because it plays out to later in the episode, and they don't really talk about it, but it's subtle, and the audience just has to figure it out. I always hate it when a show where something would happen, and then like the character will be like, ha ha ha, remember when I did this? I did it for this reason. They don't explain that here, but you're able to make the connection. I'll talk about it when it comes through. And she's talking to Douchey. She's like, oh, tell me everything about your racing days. Oh, I want to know everything about you. And of course, because he's like the playboy and he's just being a jerk. Freaking Zach is just hung up on him. But they're like, oh, remember, Carmen's waiting for us. They get in the garage, and Carmen's like, oh, thanks for showing up, guys. But this is where, are you their boss or are you their friend? Anyone who's been in any type of management or supervisor role, there's a fine line of working with people and being friendly and back and forth, and you can joke around and everything. Then there's times where you got to be the boss. And I don't think she likes being the boss. She'd rather be your friend because she lets Zach and Ivy screw up so much. But plan goes as good, as the way it's supposed to. She hot wires it. They get in there, and Zach's like, "Where are you gonna be?" He's like, "Oh, I brought my own ride." So Carmen's taken care of, and Zach and Ivy just get out of here and be nice. But I guess in the garage they have all of Douchey's trophies and cardboard cutouts and everything. Zach gets like pissed off, and he wants to trash the place. So he's doing donuts and like making a lot of noise. Why are you doing this? Why? Oh, Zach, you effed up bad, like really bad. So he's making all this noise, and he peels out of the garage. The guards see it. They sound the alarm, close the gates. Someone's stealing the supercar. Carmen was waiting on a motorcycle. God, she looks amazing in a motorcycle outfit. And she's like, whoa, that wasn't part of the plan. So now they have to lose the cops. And Carmen's trying to keep up on her motorcycle. But this thing can haul some serious. But they're driving, they're trying to get away, but they get surrounded. They run into a roadblock, and Zach and Ivy get arrested. You freaking dummies. And you can see the look on Carmen's face. She's pissed because she's like, what happened? This was supposed to go to plan. I know certain things, though, not everything goes as planned. You know, what plan survives first contact, but they really screwed up here. We get to Shadow Sun and Player, and they can have a good repertoire talking back and forth. And he's at like this coffee house, and he's on his laptop, you know, and Player's like, whoa, shouldn't have Carmen checked in yet? And then even Shadow Sun's like, he contacts Carmen, and she's like, it's not a good time. He's like, what went wrong? What happened? She's like, yeah, this is going to turn into a breakout. And he's like, what do you mean? Yeah, she's like, Zach and Ivy got arrested. And he's like, oh, those idiots. And Shadow Sun's right. These amateurs, they're jeopardizing the missions. They're acting like idiots. They're not taking it seriously. And now they're in jail. And this is terrible. Carmen's like, I can take care of this. We get to Tweedledee and Tweedledum. You know, Ivy wasn't the idiot here. It was all Zach's fault. But they're so playful, and they're not serious about their work. They're in a cell, and they're thinking, man, what are they going to do to us? Then Ivy's like, man, we really let down Carmen, like, big time. And like, oh, man, when she talks to us, she's going to be so pissed. Like, she's not worried about the cops. But the dad of Douchey Racer comes in, and he's like, hey, you know, he's talking to them. He's like, yeah, I know what you were up to. Took that car for a ride, and they're not very happy, but I know what you're really doing. And they're like, oh, really? Yeah, you were trying to impress me with your racing skills, so I would notice you and put you on my racing team. And Zach's like, I was? And I was like, idiot, just play along with it. And he's like, oh, you did some awesome work. That was some fancy driving. I would love to have you on my team. And they're like, wait, that's all fine and dandy, but we're in jail. He's like, yeah, I have connections. I'll get you out of jail for free. Like, damn. This guy must know. This was he might be a bad guy. Is this guy a bad dude? Because he's too nice. See that smile? That's a secret bad guy smile. Maybe they're gonna use this guy to try to get to Carmen, like, but through Zach and Ivy. I don't know. Maybe he's just a good guy, but I'm a cynic. But he gets them out, and he's like, you know, you have a job on my team. I want you to race for me. I want you to race with my son because I know you're a good racer, Zach. And Ivy, you'll have a whole shop. You'll be the foreman, the manager of a whole team of mechanics. So you can just work on whatever you feel like. He just gave them the golden ticket. They don't have to be thieves anymore. But do you leave Carmen behind? See, that's like now they have the family they never had with Carmen. Now, but it's like at the same time, was this going to last forever? Was this going to be running around doing capers until always? Or live a regular life of they can be racers and she can be the chief mechanic? It's everything they ever wanted. So they're like, you know, having to really think about it. They get out of jail, and Carmen's waiting for him outside. They're like, oh, Carmen, you won't believe what just happened. And she's like, damn right I don't believe what just happened. I mean, she's rightfully pissed.
Do you realize you jeopardized the entire mission? When are you going to stop behaving like amateurs?
Sorry, Carm.
So let's hear what's so wicked ridiculous. What was possibly worth risking your necks and mine and giving V.I.L.E a chance to win? Go on, I'm listening.
I've never seen Carmen angry like this. I've seen her like where she was upset that they screwed up a mission or something, but she is actually pissed off at Zach and Ivy, and she's 1000% correct. But this is what happens when you're not a boss but a friend. And she's just like, do you not know, all the stuff she said? You know, you jeopardized the missions, yourself, you jeopardized me. This is bigger than just goofy time, and you guys are acting like a bunch of amateurs. Is this Shadow Sun, his words influencing her? Yeah, you can kind of see it, but it's also true. And then she's super mean. She's like, what is this amazing thing you were talking about? How great and wonderful is this? Lay it on me. It must be so amazing. Oh, Carmen, you're so mean, but she has the right to be mean. And of course, they're like, oh, it was nothing, don't worry. You know, it was nothing. She gets on her bike and just takes off, just leaves him there. Yeah, I don't blame her. Get to the next day where they're going to do the test for the car. Carmen's in the stands, and she's looking around. She goes, I haven't seen V.I.L.E yet. Haven't seen Zach and Ivy either. Maybe I was too mean to them, but we gotta focus on the mission. Zach and Ivy are still, mulling over this whole thing. Like, well, Carmen hates us, so might as well just take the job. And if we're going to have to work with him, we're going to have to like make up with his son. So we're going to be on a team together. And they're at his trailer. And of course, this guy's trailer's even douchey. This guy is just awful. But I was thinking, aren't they testing the car? Why would he be in his trailer? Like, wouldn't he be out on the track, like in the car? Because you see like the racer out there. Obviously, I thought it was him. But why they start knocking on the trailer and realize, hey, I can hear voices, like muffled voices. They open the door and he's all tied up. And so someone took his place. Whoever this other mystery driver is, the Stig, he's even doing the little like finger guns and everything that he did at the party. So it's like, who could this person possibly be and know him so well? They're like, wait a second, if he's here, then who's out there? They let Carmen know, hey, someone's going to swipe that car because it's not the driver. Carmen is pissed. Like, cause she's just like another monkey wrench, it just ruins everything. Car takes off and goes behind a set of buildings, boom, disappears. Carmen, we gotta get going. And she gets on a motorcycle, gives chase. And she kind of leaves Zach and Ivy in the dust. It's expedient. She has to get moving. She only has a motorcycle, so it doesn't, have more seats. Should have had 2 sidecars for the 2 idiots. That would have been hilarious. But they just steal a cop car and everyone's giving chase. Pretty decent car chase here. The animation when she's weaving in and out of traffic I love smooth butter animation, and this is butter. Then I'm like, but who's this driver? Oh, it's the chick that freaking Zach was hitting on. If we remember back at the party, she was talking to McDouchebag, and she's like, I want to know everything about you. So she was studying his mannerisms, his story, everything, the way that he walks and everything, so she could copy him to make it look like she was really him. What a cool thing. What a cool little detail that they don't explain, but you remember it as it's happening. Don't treat your audience like an idiot. It was cool. She contacts the mechanic and she's like, oh, I got the car. I'm bringing it in, but it looks like we have, I'm being followed. And it's Carmen. She catches up to her and they're having their little race and everything, but they end up getting split on 2 different sides of the highway. She gets on the on-ramp. So Carmen straight takes this ramp and to jump back up onto the freeway. And I'm like, it's a cool scene, but it's so spy thriller. It's freaking awesome. She gets in front of her, so now Carmen's right there. She's, neck and neck with her. Zach and Ivy are right behind them too, so they're all in this big chase. But this supercar, if it's really truly a supercar, it would leave all these things in dust. Like her motorcycle could keep up for a little bit, but we're talking dangerous speeds of like over 150. So it just takes off. It goes into this parking garage. Carmen's gonna go right, we're gonna go left. So if she tries to go back down, we'll catch her. Good plan. They're gonna try to box her in, but she's not there. They almost like hit each other. And of course, you get every time I see a motorcycle in any cartoon, I'm like, it's gonna be the Akira. It's gonna be the Kita bike, and they do it. They do the Kita bike. They had to do it. And like, where is she? What happened? Where did the car go? They look up to see an airship. Like, oh, they just picked it up and they're gonna carry it by blimp. Very Indiana Jones. Carmen's like, hey, grab on. We're going up there. So it's kind of like, is she accepting them back? They get up into the blimp. Zach's like, we need to talk. And Ivy's like, not right now. We're on a mission. We'll talk about this later. And Carmen kind of figured out. She's like, oh, you got invited to work on that racing team. She's like, well, and they look almost ashamed because they feel bad because this is like their family, and now they're leaving a family to join. Oh, it kind of hurt my heart too. But Carmen's like, hey, whatever you guys choose to do, I want you to be happy. And if that's what you want to do is join that team and be profitable, be racers. And that was like, she knows that was their dream. I won't take that from you. And I'll be happy for you regardless of what you do. Until then, let's finish this mission first and then we can talk about this more. So Carmen kind of gave them the okay to move on. Is she truly okay with it? She if they chose to, she would have to be. But that was nice that she kind of gave them that talk and she showed them that I'm not angry at you anymore. I thought that was nice. So they split up. Carmen goes one way, they go the other. They find the car. But they hear someone like pretend driving, like a little kid behind the wheel going boom. They open the door, it's the mechanic lady. And, in her ridiculous British accent. And, we got some street agents here. she starts to fight them, and she like throws this wrench and it like goes through a box. Like she got killer wrenches. The driver, that's her code name. I don't think she actually had I don't think she even gave her name at the party. She's in the pilot seat, and she set it to autopilot because she's gonna go back there and fight Zach and Ivy. But as she turns around, Carmen's like waiting in the doorway, and whoo-wee, them hips don't lie. It's nice to have a beautiful woman in an animated show. It just is. They start fighting, and again we get another cool fight scene. There's been a cool fight scene in every single episode. The action, the car chases. They know this is a spy show, and they throw in all those spy tropes that are cool, like all the cool action stuff. I mean, look at this angle. I love this. She throws a punch, Carmen blocks it, and has like a counter ready. Carmen's been working on her fighting skills because that's where she lacked. Cool. We get a cool fight in the pilot's room. We get a cool fight in the cargo hold, because as Carmen and Driver are fighting, they're like knocking the controls around. So like it's dipping and yawing and moving around. So they're falling around, and the cargo doors open so they can fall out and totally die. Starts to tilt one way, they get hit, it starts tilting back the other way. And there's like a rooftop party they're going to smash into. Carmen gets hold of the controls and she barely dodges it. Zach and Ivy like, we're going to just drive this thing out the back and we're going to land on the roof of this building. I'm like, oh man, the balls on this guy. So they get in there and they just fly out the back. And then even Driver looks at that like, damn, he actually did that. The look on Ivy's face is just beautiful. Like she just reaches up and grabs her seat because you just want to grab onto something, even though it's not going to do anything. They crash into the side of this building. No grabbing onto something's going to help you, but that's like a very human thing to do. And Zach's like determined, because he knows this is going to work. They jump it, they land on this roof, and they're okay. I'm like, whoo. And then even Ivy's like, oh, please tell me we're right side up. We didn't crash into something. She closed her eyes. I loved it. They get out. Carmen, uses her hang glider, pops out of there, and they got the car back. And back at V.I.L.E, they're like, meh, XX, you're out. We're not taking these two. And of course, Coach is pissed because that was like her handpicked one. They bring the car back to that Prince guy and to the father, and he's like, yeah, you guys are true heroes. He even brought his son to say sorry, and I look forward to working with you, even though he's kind of like doing it because his dad told him to. But there could actually be a family here, and this is it's not the worst thing in the world to pursue your dreams. And Carmen's in the stands, and she kind of gives him the smile, like, you guys can go. I set you free. I love how they don't let you know what happened, and it just cuts to them back in Sandiego, Shadow-san and Carmen, and they're looking at the building. So I guess they bought the building. So they're going to have an HQ. And, she's talking about, after they gave up, and she has that sad look on her face, but then Zach and Ivy pop out like, oh man, it's even bigger than the last time. And they're like super excited to set up the HQ and everything. And she's like, you know what? They gave up their dream. The least I can do is buy an HQ for them, and they can have a place to stay. So they don't have to go on every mission with her, which is nice. I think that's cool because they don't have to be there all the time. And I guess they already alluded to the fact that Ivy made all the gadgets, so I guess she can do more R&D stuff. And if she needs a driver for a mission, she'll take Zach with her. So she's starting to build like this crew. Wouldn't it be awesome? I want Carmen Sandiego and her 40 Thieves. How cool would that be? Now they have a home base. And they got another hit in Moscow to go because that's where V.I.L.E.'s next thing's going to be. She takes Shadow-san with her, leaves Zach and Ivy at the headquarters to set it up. And that's the end of the episode. Pretty cool. We got the backstory of Zach and Ivy. Probably should have just been in this episode, but we got some cool action. Carmen anytime Carmen's in a beautiful dress, in a beautiful outfit, it's always a win. She looks, her in motorcycle leathers, mwah, fantastic. They got an HQ. We got some Carmen getting pissed, and rightfully so, but finding a way to fix it. Because that's what families do. You get angry at each other, things screw up, but you find ways to make it better because you care about each other. And you can tell Carmen cares about her little thieving family, and that's awesome. And it's so funny because V.I.L.E.'s kind of doing the same thing. They're looking for another member of their family. It's very humanizing to see these bad guys kind of trying to look for someone to join their team, because it's a very human thing, a very natural thing to want people to have people in groups. We're social creatures. So it's to see both the good guys and the bad guys both kind of doing the same thing. But yeah, cool. A definitely step up from the last episode. I know they're brother sister episodes because they connect. But yeah, a return to form for Carmen. Can't wait for the next one.
Care to land the blimp?
Crimson Saint here. Thanks for watching the video. If you're enjoying the content, be sure to sub, like, share, and hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss a single upload. If you have any tips or story ideas, hit us up on Twitter at C15 Podcast, or better yet, join our Discord server, link in the description below.